Welcome back to the show, everybody, and welcome to the Prowler out of Fisherman's Landing in San Diego. We're offshore, got the glasses up to the eyes. That's Charles up there, and he's looking for another school of yellowfin tuna. Folks, every summer the yellowfin tuna push into San Diego, in and around there, and it's time to go offshore. You see the Prowler heading out and taking a look around for sometimes some porpoise. The yellowfin have a tendency to mix up with the porpoise. Sometimes they're looking for fish jumping, so other times they're looking for a kelp patty. In every single case, what we're absolutely looking for is the yellowfin tuna. Skipper Buzz Brizendine of the Prowler got the glasses up to his eyes. Buzz is not only a competent skipper, but he's one of the nicest men you'll ever meet. When you walk on the Prowler, don't be afraid to say, "Buzz, how do you do this? How do you do that?" And when you're offshore, you want to be trolling with some of this equipment and yo-yoing iron. We'll get into all of that with you in a little bit. But remember, the tuna move constantly. That's within their very nature, to constantly move around. So you've got to put feathers back behind the boat. It takes an experienced skipper to keep those glasses up to his eyes. And when you see a kelp patty, it's time to pull back on the throttles, throw some bait, as you see the deckhand up there throwing the bait, and maybe get a stop on the yellowfin tuna. Folks, I can't emphasize to you how important it is to choose a good hot bait. Those anglers who take a little bit extra time back there at the bait tank can catch one of these nice, beautiful yellowfin tuna. Take a look at this lucky angler, Donnie Boulet. He's been on the Prowler for a long time. He's an outstanding skipper and an outstanding man on the deck. He's going to take this nice yellowfin tuna and sack it up for this fine gentleman who incidentally did an outstanding job up there in the bow on this yellowfin tuna. The yellowfin tuna is a hard-fighting fish. They range in size anywhere from about 5 pounds up to the mid to high 300-pound mark. This grade of fish we're catching right now, up there over 10 pounds in the 10 to 20-pound class. And boy, I'll tell you, these fish, especially on light tackle, will give you all you want. I mean, they'll take you around the boat, up to the bow, back to the stern. I mean, they really put on a tremendous fight. As you see this gentleman locked up in a furious battle, trying to get another nice yellowfin tuna on board the Prowler. And can you see how clear the water is? I mean, when you're offshore, it's absolutely beautiful.
Got color!
Folks, it's absolutely worth mentioning to you that if you've never been fishing before, the Prowler is a great sport boat for you to jump on. Buzz Brizendine welcomes first-time anglers, and he says, make yourself known. Let him know right up front. Let the crew know so they're able to help you out, give you some tips, help you along. The Prowler and the crew on board the Prowler are there to help you along if it's your first time. So don't be intimidated. My goodness, get out there and enjoy some of this marvelous fishing. Take a look at the water. It is like a lake out there. It is absolutely beautiful as you see another angler tied up in a furious battle. And notice what this man is doing. With the aid of Donnie Boulet, his hand in the gentleman's back, he is keeping that fish right in front of him. The fish moves toward the stern, so does the angler. Very important to keep that yellowfin tuna right in front of you. And sometimes, I mean, you've got to get your track shoes on and hightail it up to the bow or hightail it back to the stern. But by keeping that fish right in front of you, you avoid tangles, and tangles are what are going to help you or hurt you in terms of fighting these fish. You're going to lose a lot of fish if you get tangled up with the other anglers. So keep them right in front of you, lay them out nice and beautifully, and make sure you always keep that fish in front of you, and there shouldn't be any problem at all. Again, Donnie Boulet right there reassuring this angler, saying, good job, keep that fish in front of you. Nice short strokes, raise that rod tip nice and gently, not herky-jerky, and then reel down, raise that rod tip. You see another bite back there in the stern. You just keep pumping those fish. You get them back up to color, and then Donnie Boulet will get the gaff in another nice yellowfin tuna. Folks, in some cases, the yellowfin, when they come to the boat, they will voraciously charge in and bite every single bait in the water. We've got one fish going right here, but at other times we can see some really crazy action where every bait just gets bit, and it's absolute pandemonium. So it's very important that you listen to the crew and just keep those babies right in front of you. Look at this yellowfin, a gorgeous fish. You can see him literally 10, 20, 30 feet down. The water is so absolutely beautifully clear, and this yellowfin looks like he's just at about at the end. So is the angler, by the way. He's tired. Another nice yellowfin tuna coming on board the Prowler. A beautiful job by the angler, and Donnie Boulet coaching him right through it. I tell you, this crew on the Prowler, really something else. Yellowfin tuna fishing out of San Diego can be an incredible, awesome experience. especially when the stuff decides to rain on. When it really starts to bite, it's an incredible time. And mixed up with it, as you see Bob's dad, Ed Alvarez, with a beautiful Dorado, are some really unique species. The Dorado mixes up with it, so does the hard-fighting skipjack, but it's the yellowfin tuna that pulls so hard. And in this bite on the Prowler, things heated up like you just can't believe. You threw a bait back there in the stern in that water that looks like a lake once again, and it was an instant hookup. Another nice yellowfin tuna coming on board the Prowler, and still another fish were being hooked and lifted on board the Prowler one after another, and it was a wonderful way to end another great offshore day out of San Diego. Tuna fishing, well, it's some of the most fun you'll ever experience in San Diego, and on board the Prowler, I know you're going to enjoy it. Folks, we're going to take a moment. We're going to go to a commercial. We will be right back with even more action, so please stay tuned for more great action here on the 976 Tuna Saltwater Action Series. Great day on the Prowler.
Hello again, everybody. You've caught us here on the Del Mar with my good friend Rick Effinger. We went to high school together, didn't we?
I can hardly remember that far back, Phil.
It's been a long time. We're going to talk to you a little bit about how to take the Barracuda, and I think one of the most effective ways to take the Barracuda is with the iron. If you look at a Barracuda carefully, you'll see canine-like teeth. They're very, very sharp. And if you're fishing with a hook and monofilament line, the Barracuda has a tendency to bite you off. That's one reason I think the iron is so effective. Now, I'm going to talk to you about yo-yoing an iron, a term that means to sink the jig down to the appropriate level. This lure, a UFO #1, is small, but it's heavy, and it's heavy for a reason. We want that lure to sink down to 60 to 80 feet in some cases. Why? Because when you look out on the water and see all that commotion out there, you see fish flipping, you see fish boiling. I mean, it's really exciting, and it looks like that Barracuda is right there on the surface, but many times that's literally the tip of the iceberg. It's 10% of the actual body of fish. So by sinking the lure down deep and then retrieving it up through 100 feet, you're coming right up through the meat of the school, and your odds are so much better to hook those fish. 25 to 40 pound monofilament line. Remember, the impact is severe. You've got a lure moving in one way and a fish slamming into it in another. That's funny, huh? And it's severe, so you need a heavier line to get the job done. Yo-yo iron is one way to take them. Another method, I'm going to introduce my friend Rick Effinger now, the skipper of the Del Mar.
Surface iron.
Surface iron.
Take
it away.
The best way to do it. Surface jig has you got to have a lure that's got some action to it, so use a lighter weight. This is a Tatty C here. If you look close, it's caught a fish or two. In fact, they took the hook off it today. A big old gar took the hook with them.
Yeah, right.
Now we got this UFO Pro Light here. It's another one too. Lightweight. They only weigh maybe 4 or 5 ounces. They have pretty good action, pretty good wiggle when you pull them through the water. And you fish these just by casting them out and letting them sink maybe anywhere from 2 to 40 or 50 or 60 feet, and just winding them up at a fast enough rate of speed to make them wiggle good, depending on whatever the conditions are on that day is what the retrieve you use for the jig.
What do you mean by that now exactly?
Well, how fast you wind the lure in.
Depends
how fast
on what
you turn
conditions.
the handles.
Yeah.
The conditions of the fish.
Sometimes they're biting it fast.
Sometimes they want it fast, sometimes they want it slow.
So if you're not getting bit, you should vary that retrieve?
You change.
Yeah.
It also change the angle of the retrieve. Maybe you want to wind it right across the surface, and if that doesn't work, try sinking it 15 or 20 feet and winding it up so it comes in at a 45.
One thing that is a common denominator in this, and that is whether you're fishing yo-yo iron or surface iron, when you get a bite, don't rear back on the rod. Just start turning that handle, right, Rick?
Grind them on. Just turn the handle faster, and the fish will do the rest.
Hey, that was fun.
Yeah.
And that's how you catch fish on the iron. We'll see you on the Del Mar with the iron, catching lots of Barracuda.
Well, folks, we've just poked our nose outside of Marina Del Rey Harbor, and Rick Effinger, the great skipper of the Del Mar, is in search of the wily Barracuda. He's looking out, scouring the horizon, trying to find an area of Barracuda, and he has found one. He's put us right in it, and of course you can see the guys throwing the iron, those lures that we talked to you about just a moment ago, with great zeal. Boy, I tell you, the iron, no better way to take these Barracuda. Look at that nice big gar. Big Barracuda as that angler bounces them on board the deck of the Del Mar. Now, one thing we neglected to talk to you about when throwing the iron, and that is a real simple rule. Take a look behind you. You're never going to miss the water with that lure, but you may snag somebody. You may injure somebody. So please take a look behind you before making that cast, and I'll tell you what, it can help you very, very much in terms of catching these fish and just playing it safe. The Barracuda. My goodness, some guys are yo-yoing the iron, remember, sinking it down. Other guys are on the surface wind. In either case, these fish are raining on it. Seems like the fish are starting to build a little bit on the Del Mar. When these fish move into the Santa Monica Bay, it's some of the craziest action you will ever experience. And remember now, Rick is running a 3/4 day boat. Some days of the week he leaves at 10 o'clock in the morning. My goodness, for guys like me, we can sleep in and still make the boat. And you're back in by 4. It's not that long of a day. Other times, Rick is leaving at 6 in the morning and back in about 3 in the afternoon. In either case, it's not a big investment in terms of time or money on the 3/4 day boat, but in terms of the action, it doesn't get any better than this. And when the Barracuda is caught fresh, contrary to a lot of the talk you hear banded around, it's a great eating fish, a wonderful smoked fish, probably the best smoked fish we have, and very good on the barbecue. But you've got to get them filleted out there and get them well taken care of. Another fish on the iron, hitting the deck of the Del Mar as this thing is absolutely wide open. The deckhands are there. On the Del Mar, they're always there to help you. So if you want to bring the kids down, if you want to bring the family, no better way to do it than on one of the fine 3/4 day boats like the Del Mar, because the deckhands and the crew are always there to help you out. Look at these beautiful barracuda hitting the deck of the Del Mar. It was one fish after another. Look at that fish out there. Did you see that fish jump? We've got fish all around the boat. Birds picking, barracuda jumping, tremendous volume, and more fish raining on the Del Mar in a tremendous barracuda bite. A bite in which over 200 fish hit the deck. And that's the way these barracuda turn on. I mean, when they turn it up a notch, it is really something to marvel at. These fish raining on. Tremendous bite. Look at those sacks starting to bulge. Dave Davis, he's a guy who loves to fish locally. He's one of the finest rod and reel men I've ever met. Mr. Davis can really throw fish on board, and there he is, bouncing a nice barracuda on board the Del Mar. You notice some guys are using conventional reels, and others are using some spinning type reels. See this gentleman? It's his first time out fishing, and he's got the spinning reel. Nothing wrong with that. Go out there and have a ball with the spinners or the conventionals, whatever you're more comfortable with. That's what Rick would like to see you out there with. Another barracuda up there in the bow. You know, a lot of guys will tell you got to be back in the stern to catch surface fish. But look, we're up here near the anchor in the bow, and it's still absolutely wide open. Tremendous bite on the Del Mar. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll break for a commercial right now, and then we'll be back with even more. We'll give you one final look at the last big barracuda to hit the deck of the Del Mar. We'll see you right back here after these commercial announcements. Folks, it was an absolute ball having you on board with us here today on the 976 Tuna Saltwater Action Series. The Barracuda bite in the Santa Monica Bay can be awesome. I hope you take advantage of it very, very soon out there on the Del Mar. And, of course, Catalina Island with those nice white sea bass. That is something to really get into. It's marvelous fishing. It's going on right now. Hope you can get into that soon. And, of course, the Yellowfin tuna bite down there in San Diego. Well, it can be absolutely awesome, and it was a lot of fun being out with Buzz Brizendine on the Prowler. I'll remind you all to find out about the latest fishing information. You can dial 213-310 or 818-976-TUNA. Please give it a call. I think you're going to really enjoy it. For Bob Alvarez, I'm Philip Friedman saying thanks so much for joining us on the 976 Tuna Saltwater Action Series. We'll see you again next week right here. Same time, same place, same channel, as we will get it on and take you through another great sport fishing adventure. Another reminder to you all that we are proudly brought to you, and this show has been made possible by our great sponsors. And without them, we would be nothing. The Searcher, great long-range fishing. Please take advantage of it. Berkeley Trilene Fishing Line, the finest fishing line for you, the finest angler. The Del Mar, get on out in the Santa Monica Bay and take on those barracuda. LA Harbor Bait, great bait for you every single day. And the Qualifier 105, your next vacation should be a special one. We'll see you next week right here on the 976 Tuna Saltwater Action Series. Thanks again for joining us, everybody. Take good care.